Welcome everyone to another full course. This is Eurobro, and today we're gonna cover Trello. Now, some may say like the Trello is the simplified version of Jira, which actually kind of is. It's really easy to use. It has a lot of cool features in here. So let's dive deep into it. The first thing that I wanted to show you is when you actually delete your workspace, because you have workspaces, and within those workspaces you have the boards. Now you can view those closed boards if you have deleted any, and you can actually restore them. So, or if you want, you can permanently delete them. So let's say I don't need this one, and I can reopen here, but I don't have any other workspaces. So what I can do is to create a new workspace. So let's say the new workspace is going to be, let's say, YouTube channel. And the question is, what kind of a workspace I want this to be? So do I want this to be used for human resources, engineering, education, operations, etc. So now that none of these things really suit me, so I'm going to choose the type of other. You can choose any of these types if you want. I'm not gonna go through each of these because this video would last over an hour, and I don't believe that you guys wanna actually watch the video 1 hour. And no one really has that big attention span when it comes to watching long videos like that. So I'm going to click on continue. So this is what I have. So I have the YouTube channel workspace, and now what I can do, I can select the board and I can return it. But that is the thing that I don't want to do right now. I want to create the board, but before I actually create the board, I'm gonna go through these options right here. So I'm now within the YouTube channel, and now it says here it's private. All right, so when I click on the pencil, I can rename it, and I can give it a short name as well. You can also have the website, which is actually optional, and description optional as well. You can go ahead if you want to really to personalize this, but not a lot of people are actually using this. And you have also to browse with the templates, where you have the templates for the project management, for the Kanban template, for the simple project board, or remote team hub. So these are the already pre-styled or actually pre-created templates that you have in here that you can actually use, right? So that is something that you can do, but that is the thing that I'm not going to do here. First of all, I'm going to introduce you to this left sidebar right here. So first of all, you're going to notice this that says in here free. Trello has their pricing models, and a lot of things are going to change within the Trello when it comes to the collaborators, but I will get to that part later. So you have your boards, you have your members, and these members are actually part of this workspace. So this workspace has boards and it has members, so you have the members of the workspace. Now, as you can see in here, it says workspace members 1. And I also have one guest in here, which actually makes a total of 2 collaborators, because members and guests both are actually counting as the collaborator. Now, one thing that I want to mention in here, that free Trello workspaces will be limited to 10 collaborators starting of April the 8th. So right now you don't need to take any action, but if you're still on the free plan and have more than 10 collaborators, here are the changes that are going to happen. So you won't be able to invite the new collaborators to free workspaces that are at or over the limit. But that doesn't mean that your boards won't be functional at all. But on the May of 20th, boards in free workspaces that are over the limit will become view only. So what actually this means? This means that you're not be able to add some cards, to add the comments, you're not be able to add the columns to your Trello board. So you're not gonna be able to do any of those things. Also, you're not going to be able to add some fields, add some checkbox lists. None of those things you're not going to be able to do. So the ways how you actually invite is you can invite either with the link that actually gets copied to your clipboard, or you click it on here and you enter your email address, and with that email address the member gets invited. Also, another thing that I want to mention, that invited members are also gonna count as the collaborators. So what actually that means, let's say you have 5 invited members and you have like 3 guests and you have like 2 members. What is gonna happen is, after that limit, and let's say you want to invite another member, you're not going to be able to do that unless you subscribe to higher tier. All right. Also, you can invite guests to your board. Now, I'm gonna talk about that later. The main thing in here is we want to create a board, right? So what is going to be the name of my board? Let's say my name of the board is going to be YouTube ideas, for example. I want to select the visibility. So you can select the visibility in 3 ways: to be public, to be in a workspace where only board members can see and edit this board, and private. Public is that basically only board members can see and edit this board. So I don't know why. Okay, I understand. All right. So basically, so for the public is basically like everyone in the internet can actually like see it. For the workspace, only the ones who are within the workspace, and actually the private ones. So for the private one that has been set right here to be, that means only I can actually see this specific, and this right here is a workspace. Alright, so I'm going to create it, and now I have YouTube ideas. So this is the very first thing that I get. So you get the list title. So, and I'm going to say brainstorming for here. Then I'm going to say another thing, which is going to be recording. Then I have editing. Then I have, let's say, published. So this is what I want to have. And these are basically my lists. Now in Jira, you would have this called the columns, but in Trello, it's called the lists because, well, it's simplified. So now, within those lists, you add your cards. So for the brainstorming, new idea. Then I'm going to say thinking out loud. Which can be weird if you're doing that on the street, by the way. What else? I'm going to see thumbnail design, for example. So I have these 3 cards. Now what I can do here is I can move this card to this list right here, and I can say, you know what, I'm recording this new idea and I'm brainstorming, thinking out loud, and I'm brainstorming about the thumbnail design, for example. And then you actually have more cards in here. Now, you can create from a template, right? You don't have any templates, create a template to make copying cards easy. So actually what this means that you can, when you have some card, from that card you can create a template that other cards are going to be based on. So what it looks like when you click on a card, this is what you actually see. So first of all, you have the notifications. So it says watch to get notifications for update on this card. So I'm going to say yes, I want to watch this. I want to see what is going on in here when I'm thinking out loud, right? In the description, this is basically pretty much the same like you have in Jira. So this is like, if I can say, wiki-styled rendered field where we actually have the options to add a heading, to change the styling, to change if you want to add like a bullet list. You can insert elements like code snippets, dividers, emojis, mentions, or quotes. So you can do all of those things, or if you want to do some attachment of a link, for example. So I'm going to say thinking about the new YouTube video where no one is listening. Oh no, not where. When no one is listening. So I'm gonna save this. So I have the description here. Now the first thing you have when it comes to the activity, it says I want to add this activity, and I'm gonna comment this. I'm gonna say like okay, and what I have actually see right now is the comment that I have added. So in here it's showing what was done. So now what you can do, you can add your members to the card, right? So you can add board members, right? So you can basically add yourself. All right, so do I have more members? I don't have members, but I have actually guests. But I'm not going to add them. So you can, I'm basically adding myself here. You can create a label in here, and based on the labels, so let's say brainstorming, right? And I'm going to say this is going to be, let's say, the yellow label. And now in here, as you can see on the board, it's actually, this card is labeled with yellow, and you're gonna see here the label is brainstorming. Now what else you have? You have like the checklists, right? So let's say I have something that is called to do, like things that are in there, right? So think about the microphone position. which sometimes it's positioned good, sometimes it's not really. Uh, think, let's say, think about the length of the video, right? And I can add this. Now, what else you can do? You can actually assign this, but you need to upgrade your workspace to make your checklists even better. So, if I want to actually assign this to someone, I cannot do this because I'm on the free plan. Also, for adding the due date, I cannot do that as well on the free plan. And I also have the option for the dates, right? So let's say for the due date, I have until Friday to think about all of this, right? And in here, on the background, as you can see, I have this updated, right? So this is actually pretty good. Now, what else I can do? I can add an attachment if I want. I can add a cover, basically. So let's say I want this to be, let's say, green. And I can have it as a green, right? So good. Now, also you have like custom fields that you can actually add. Now, in order to add your custom fields, basically, like drop downs, like buttons, like to add the custom field of a number, of a text, like in Jira, that you can do like cascading drop down style, that you can have like one choice or multiple choices, that you can have a number field. So this actually can be done in Trello, but you actually need to upgrade. I also have the power-ups. Basically, the power-ups are nothing more than the apps within the Trello. Just like you have the Atlassian marketplace, you have this marketplace for the Trello as well. So I'm not going to be adding that. Also, another thing that you have is going to be the automation. Now, for the automation, you can create a lot of things in here. So you can copy card to, add a label, join a card, set due date, mark the due date to remove or sort list. I'm going to say sort, and I'm going to say sort the list by due date and the ascending. Yes. Alright, so we have that, and we have basic like sort. And now it's not really doing anything because I only have like one due date in here. I don't have more due dates, right? Or if I go, let's say, so this is going to be the due date. Yeah, basically that is it. Then you have like actions to move, to copy, and to make a template. So if I make the template, right? So what this is done, so it says in here, this card is a template. Now what I can do is I can create a brand new card. It's going to be different in here. And instead of thinking out loud, I'm going to say, let's say, only thanking. But as you can see, it inherited everything that was in this card right here, because this card is now a template and you can create other cards based on this. So this is actually a pretty cool feature that you actually have in Trello. Now what else you have in here that is also interesting? Now in order to actually have different, let's say different kind of views, like for the table, for the calendars, timeline, you need to upgrade as well. But I'm sure that most of you are going to be using this board for its simplicity's sake. So as you can see how simple this actually is within the Trello itself. So that is one thing. The another thing that I wanted to talk about are going to be the workspace settings. So when you go to your workspace settings, we already have this info panel that was already being set by Atlassian, where you can manage your collaborators. And this is where you're actually going to see, so workspace visibility. So this means that this workspace is private. It's not indexed or visible to those outside of the workspace. Correct. So no one who is actually, everyone who is outside this whole workspace is not going to be able to see YouTube channels. So they're not going to be able to find it, right? But if I change this, and if I say, public, it can be seen by anyone with the link, and it will show up in search engines like Google. Ooh, ouch. This right here raises awareness that like anyone can actually find my Trello board using Google. And what if I have some important stuff like company stuff that I'm actually doing here? I don't want anyone on the internet to actually see this. So this actually creates that security concern, and it's best to actually leave this to be on the private. Now you can also add your workspaces and do the integration with Slack. Now the another cool thing is with upgrading to the premium, you actually have these options that add more, let's say, control over your workspace. You have for the workspace membership restrictions, where anyone can be added to this workspace. And then you can basically like change into say, no, not really anyone. So then you have like board creation restrictions. So you can say, any workspace member can create public boards, any workspace member can create workspace visible boards, or anyone in the workspace can actually create their own private boards, which is actually okay. And this really reminds on creating the team managed projects within the Jira, because by default, anyone who is a non-admin can actually create the team managed projects in Jira, unless Jira admin disables the create team managed projects permission for the creation of these projects. And you also have for the board deletion restrictions, sharing board with guests, or Slack workspaces restrictions. As you can see, you're kind of limited when it comes to having the overall control over your boards. The another thing that you also have are the filters. So when it comes to the filters, right, there isn't like really a way to like create your own filter like in Jira. So basically in Trello you have this like in simplistic way where it says for the members, it's like I have for the members, no members, cards assigned to me. Then I have like for the due date, no dates, overdue, due the next day, due the next week, marked as completed, not marked as complete. So basically in here, you can search by any match or exact match. You can actually do this. You also can go with the activity where I can say, well, I want to active this, and in here, what it says here, it's like 3 cards match the filters in here. And those 3 cards are going to be these ones because I have created them today. So that's why they are actually saying that these 3 cards are indeed matching the filters. Now you also, when you click on these 3 dots, you can actually see when you go for about this board, who is the board admin in here, right? So, and you have like the description, And you also can define members, comment on boards. You can change the permissions. Okay, so what you can do in here when it comes to permissions, you can say members. So these are admins and board members can comment and react. Then you have workspace members, which are admins, board members, observers, and team members can comment and react. Or any Trello user can comment or react provided they can see this board. What actually this means that basically anyone who is a Trello user, they can actually see this board. Any Trello user comment provided they can see this board. And then you can say no one can comment or react, which is, well, basically something that you don't want because you want to have feedback. So that is the first permission. The second one is adding or removing the members. Who can actually do this? Like all members. So this means that all members can add admins and remove the members from this board. And I would say no, not really, because I want only admins to add people to this board. I don't want any member to basically add anyone on the board. I don't want to do that. So you have like workspace editing. Any workspace member can edit and join this board. Okay. And you have like card covers enabled. So basically this is this cover that the green color that you can see right here. And in order to go for the collections, you need to, well, upgrade. So those are like the permissions that you can control when it comes to your board in here. For free, more than enough. And you have like power-ups. So when you go for the power-ups, it's gonna lead you to, let's say, a marketplace. And in here you can add, well, a lot of things. A lot of stuff that you can add to your Trello and basically make your Trello buffed and make your Trello more powerful. Also, another thing that I need to mention is the automations. So this is actually interesting because these automations in Trello are separated in 4 sections, like rules, buttons, email reports, and send feedback, right? So let's say you can create a rule to automatically respond to action schedules or card due dates. When you have buttons, you can create custom buttons on the back of every card or top of the card. So most of the times you're gonna go through the rules. And I can create an automation right here. The first thing that it needs is a trigger. Then with the trigger it goes with an action, and with an action it goes with a review and save. Pretty much similar to the Jira automation. But in Jira automation you have things like triggers, you have like conditions, you also have the actions, and you also have something that is advanced, of course, that are called the branches. So when you add a trigger, you have options in here. So you can say when a card is added to the board by me, what happens? When a card is added to the list by me or by someone else. When a card is archived by me, when a list is created by me. So I can say when a list is created by me, what do I want to do? So I can say, I can do the actions like add or remove, dates, checklists, members, content, whatever. I can say add, and I can say create a new card with a title, and I'm going to say new list, new list. In the list, what is the name of the list? You're going to say for the brainstorming. And now I'm going to add a trigger. And I'm going to say click on save. Now when I go for the new list, when I say test, let's see what happens. As you can see, the automation executed successfully and I added a new card in the brainstorming list. Oh, that was